Attention H3H3 fans. Understand, I too am a huge fan of Ethan and Eli, H3H3 Productions. I've been there for years, from the memeing on the Bradburys to the goofs on the saddest cooking show of all time. I backed Fupa, and I backed the American hero known as Humongous. Also know that, of course, Ethan can say whatever he likes. He can do whatever he likes, but understand that if you're going to scream that at me, that same thing extends to me as well as a content creator. I still enjoy Ethan's old content, and for a while I enjoyed the podcast. It's just in the past few months, it's been increasingly frustrating as a fan. As a fan of the show, and it's leading me to believe that the H3H3 Productions party is over. Now, some of you might be thinking that this video is about the app release, the video inside of a video, inside of the ad inside of an ad inside of an ad that they released to their millions of subscribers after releasing no content for nearly 3 months. But that's actually not what this is about. I will mention that briefly later. The issue is with a lot of the things that Ethan specifically is saying on the podcast. He's having some nuclear bad takes that are just dangerously uninformed and just bad, from basically claiming everybody in the Catholic Church is a predator, to saying that to pretending to know anything at all about police training in the United States. I didn't even have to dig deep to find loads of clips of just flat out incorrect, terrible takes from Ethan. Let's take a look at a few.
Bro, look at your own fucking church. Mm-hmm. This is the most evil shit I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
How can you talk about Pizzagate when the Catholic Church is literally a satanic cult?
I mean, this one kind of goes without saying. And now I do invite you to watch the full clips of these things, just so you know that I'm not removing any context. But he's talking about that ring of disgusting priests that were uncovered in Pennsylvania a while back, which he's right to be angry about, the cover-up and everything around it. But the statements that he makes that the church is some sort of, I mean, that this statement is irresponsible.
You're covering up and you're moving them around, and you're not all in on it? Not just covering it up.
Who is all in on it?
Everybody.
What do you mean?
Everybody.
No, I'm not really a religious guy, but I'm also well aware of this priest issue, which is troubling to say the least. But Ethan goes on to proclaim that literally everybody in the church knows it's happening, that they're all complicit in some way, that they're all responsible for it. And you could make the argument that he's extending this to people who just simply practice the faith as well. I mean, I get that he's just filling air on his podcast at this point, but the statement is just demonstrably false, and it's damaging when you've got a million 14-year-olds watching your video and taking every word you say as fact. At least provide some perspective, Ethan. In this next story he covers, it's about an 87-year-old woman who ended up being tased by police, and he's outraged by it. Now, the story is that somebody at like a YMCA or a local center saw an elderly woman out in the field cutting dandelions, was walking around with a knife, appeared to be lost, and didn't speak English. So the chief of police and 2 officers show up on the scene, try to get her to drop the knife repeatedly. The chief of police is said to have actually pulled his own knife out and like put it down, showed her how to put it down. Didn't work. She kept approaching them, and eventually one of the officers had to tase her. Now, That sucks. I think this is just a really unfortunate situation all around. But how Ethan reacts to it is just fucking disgusting.
I respect police officers. I respect the job. I respect what they do.
But
I have a lot of buts. First of all, you signed up for a dangerous job, and you're well compensated.
Almost immediately. So the implication here is, well, you're supposed to just take a knife wound because that's what you signed up for. Also, Ethan, you clearly know nothing about what police are often paid. I think you would be very, very surprised just how little they make and how few of them would tell you they signed up for that sweet, sweet pay.
Being in the military doesn't make you a hero by default.
But thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. You signed up. If you didn't, look, it's a
this
risky
curve.
job. It's there. It's the first part. You travel around with a gun in hostile territory. Same with a cop. You walk around with a gun on your hip for a reason. It's dangerous. And you signed up for it. It doesn't make you automatically a hero.
Nobody was saying all people in the military or the police force or the armed forces are heroes. But I would say the overwhelming majority of them are, in my opinion. They're out there protecting your right to disparage them, to sit inside of a multi-million-dollar, studio making YouTube videos while they're out in the desert. Okay, you may not call them heroes, but I do. And the fact that you would just so flippantly disparage them in this video is fucking disgusting, dude.
And it doesn't mean that you have the right to never be in harm's way. Because the police training in the United States is basically, if you are in any risk, shoot to kill. Deadly force.
Again, Ethan, you show you know nothing about police training, police salary, or the situation at hand, being as though they did not use that level of force. They used a taser, which is non-lethal. You are disparaging, collectivizing all police using just flat out incorrect information. Now, if you want to be a political commentator or a YouTube commentator and get away from reaction videos, I welcome it. I used to really respect your level-headed, hey, let's all get together in the middle perspective, but it seems as though ever since the apocalypse, to be honest, that's just gone.
The police show up with arms, with their guns drawn, screaming, drop the knife! Can you imagine that? A sweet old lady with a little, steak knife cutting dandelions. Drop the knife! Drop the knife!
Again, here, Ethan, you're presenting a fabricated detail as fact. You have no idea what happened there. That was not reported to have happened that way. You weren't there.
But I'm just like, man, this it's not even about him. I've seen this sentiment echoed, a lot. And I just think it's a fucking shame. Like, we should be honoring this, a really courageous moment.
Yeah.
I
I thought it was really nice of him when I saw it.
Courageous. And rest in peace to John McCain, the last honest vestige of class. And how can a guy like that even be classy when the people he's trying to reach out to are eviscerating because it's never enough?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. That made me really sad. But I think John McCain's an awesome dude, and he said in his final statement that he just wants to be remembered as someone that served his country. So he definitely will be remembered as that.
Here's a little different kind of a clip. Here, Ethan is defending John McCain. Now, he's entitled to do so. Why is he defending him? Why is he calling him literally the last honorable politician? Because he one time defended Obama from some lady in the crowd who called him an Arab. That's it. This guy had never met a war he didn't love. He's responsible for catastrophic results across the world.
polls reveal in the UK that people want Idris Elba to replace Daniel Craig as 007 James Bond. But here's the catch, Hila.
Yeah.
He's black.
Uh-oh.
He's a black man. Apparently that's caused a lot of drama. People say James Bond has to be white. Here's my take. You want my opinion, Hila?
Mm-hmm.
You guys want to know how to feel about this?
First of all, I thought it was interesting. He said, do you guys want to know how to feel about this? It's almost like it could just be, a slip or a misspeak. But it could also be that he knows his viewers take his word as gospel. In all these videos that I've shown, and I could do hundreds of them from the podcast, his fans don't like it. His fans don't like when Ethan gets political. One of the top comments on him was something like, hearing Ethan talk about politics is like hearing a deaf person talk to me about their top 5 favorite songs. And they're also deleting comments off those videos. Here he completely minimizes the fact that people didn't want Idris Elba as 007. For the same reason people don't like the recent changes to Ciri in The Witcher. He's not black. Now, I personally don't necessarily have a problem with it as long as he's James Bond, not just black James Bond. Okay? But this video, again, received tons of dislikes because he doesn't even know why people don't want him as James Bond. He goes on to talk about how he's a huge fan of him, doesn't even call him by the right name. Ethan, it's clear you're just browsing through articles on the fly, filling airtime, collecting that sweet Amazon Prime, Twitch Prime subscriptions, and not bothering to do any research. And the fact is, I know you can, dude. When you broke the whole T. Martin situation, that was one of the best put together videos I've ever seen. I know you can do the research. You're lazy right now. You're uninspired right now. The world needs Ethan and Hila to be at the top of their game because you used to be a voice of reason. But now you're clearly in some kind of rut. Which brings me to the latest H3H3 Productions video you uploaded. After almost 90 days without uploading a single video, you upload an ad for your mobile game. Now, look, I seriously respect and love that you made that game, and I know you're going to make a ton of money on it, and some people are really going to enjoy it. I saw it was trending number 1 or number 2 on the Google Play Store, and I'm happy for your success. I know the game has changed, and you still have to maintain a lifestyle, make a living, and so no problem with it. The reason why you had thousands of people unsubscribing from you and tens of thousands of downvotes on that is not that you made a game. It's that you hadn't bothered to upload to that channel in 3 months. Then you finally give your thirsty subscribers a video. And not only is it an ad for a mobile game, a free-to-play game with all the hilarious microtransactions and gatekeeping and time delays that you would have made fun of. You actually ran ads on your ad. How out of touch are you, Ethan? You ran ads on your video for a video game that you were giving away. I would expect this type of behavior out of like Jake Paul. And then I would expect a hilarious video from you memeing on them. And on top of that, this game isn't even targeted towards most of your fans. It's like a kid's game. You've got a clothing line that's going well. I get that the adpocalypse hurt you. It hurt all of us, but this shit is just uninspired, dude. I totally understand what it's like getting burned out. I get it. I've changed my content several times over the years, and I've started and abandoned channels over the years. It's just really disappointing to see someone like Papa Ethan be so irresponsible with his reach and some of the things he's been saying on his podcast. If you want to be a political commentator, I welcome that with open arms. I would love to have your calming voice in the community. But you've got to do some research, Ethan. You're spreading horrible misinformation that disparages police, that minimizes the fandom of James Bond, that I could go on and on and on and on, but who wants to sit through that long of a video? You've got a huge reach. You've got a megaphone. And even if I would disagree with a lot of your takes, as long as you're trying to be fair, or as long as you look mildly educated on the topic, I think it might be a good move for you. I don't know where you are, H3H3 Productions, but we need you to come back. We need you to refocus. Because this shit, this ain't you, I hope.